Welcome back into College Call of Duty, staying in the Northeast Atlantic Division and closing out our night, the 10:30 time slot. It's going to be me, Quinn, colorblind, here with the Matt Man in the booth. Matt, how we feeling, man?
Oh, brother, it is so good to finally get into some college COD. I know you and I have been trying to get in here for a while, a little scheduling conflicts here and there, but we are here, we are locked, we are cocked, we are ready to rock. Mustang Esports taking on Rutgers. And Quinn, big matchup here, number 7 Mustang Esports. They've been dominant, they're 10-1, they're absolutely slaughtering everyone. Rutgers kind of on the outside of that T25, trying to find their way in. If they can knock off one of the top 10 teams in the nation, be a perfect way to solidify yourself as one of the best teams in the college COD.
Oh yeah, it would be an absolute statement from these boys. Again, coming out here, you're not necessarily the favored team, but there is a clear win condition that we will talk about for Rutgers. If they can potentially swing things their way, this could get interesting. But you're talking about these two teams. You are seeing dominance from the side of the Mustangs. They are 10-1. The only team that they have lost to is Fisher, and well, that's Fisher. When you talk about Fisher, though, they have actually beaten the Fisher Falcons 3-2. That was a testament win for them. Versus Syracuse, they did drop a map, but outside of that, Matt, they have been virtually flawless.
No, absolutely. I mean, this team has been on an absolute tear all season long, and you see why they have solidified themselves inside of the top 10. You look on the flip side of it for Rutgers, it's a really good record, 9-2, but you look at the level of competition that they've gone up against, not necessarily the side of what you see from the Mustangs. 9-2 record, but you look inside of the Hardpoint, 11-4. S&D, you talked about that win condition. That's what it has to be for the side of Rutgers Esports. You're 10-1 in S&D. You're playing on one of your best maps in Skyline. You go down to Control. You're 7-4. Again, it hasn't really been your way. That S&D has to go their way if they want to extend this series.
Yeah, and their Helix crux within the series is finding a respawn. We'll talk more about it, though, once we get a lay of the land. Let's talk about our maps to kick things off. You alluded to one of those maps being a Skyline S&D in our second map slot, but we're going to Skyline to kick things off with a back-to-back. Then we will go into some Vault Control, Vault Hardpoint, Vault S&D. Wait us in the wings, so fast, faster, fast, and fastest, I guess you could say. When you look at this, we are going no holds bars, going 200 miles straight through this series.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're starting it off on the fastest map in BO6, Skyline Hardpoint. You roll right into that Skyline Search and Destroy, and those are going to be the two most important maps for Rutgers to try to find a win here to extend this series. You're looking at that Skyline Search and Destroy. They're 8-0 on that map mode combo. You're looking for them to make good on it once again here tonight. But again, Vault to end out this series. I mean, you're looking at this right now and you're just like, what am I looking at? You're looking at an absolute grueler of a series for both of these teams, and it's going to be high energy, high pace all night long.
An absolute crueler that could very well turn into absolute cinema. And again, we've talked about it. The win condition here for Rutgers, it's going to have to come through the S&D, but it's not just the S&D. They're going to have to find a way to win a respawn here. Easier said than done against a team like the Mustangs. Their respawns have been top-notch, Matt. I mean, they are 3 points away from being perfect on Hardpoint. May I further dive into that? They went up against Fisher, brought it within 3 points of taking the first Vault Hardpoint that those two teams played. A best of 3 that they unfortunately did lose. You lose back-to-back after that. But still, again, testament play from these boys on the side of Mustang Esports. If you're Rutgers, talk to me here. Where can you potentially pick up a respawn within a series where it just feels like the cards are stacked against you?
Well, you look at that first Skyline Hardpoint, and Rutgers has played it very, very well. They're 5-1, but on the flip side, Mustangs undefeated on this map. I feel like that one has to at least be close to give them a little bit of confidence going into the rest of this series. Vault Control is a mixy one for both teams here, both having 2 losses, 5-2, 4-2 respectively. And Quinn, a really interesting point that you brought up in the green room is that Vault Hardpoint, Rutgers has not played this season. So you look at the side of Mustang Esports, they're 2-1. They haven't had a lot of reps on that map either. You feel like if they can get it to that Vault Hardpoint, if they can win the Skyline Search and Destroy, get it to that Vault Hardpoint, a map that's kind of unfamiliar waters for both of these teams. There's not a lot of film on Rutgers on this map. You don't really know how they like to play it. Could pull a few tricks out of the bag and maybe upset them on that map. But again, Quinn, just finding a respawn in this series, you're hitting the nail on the head there, and we're going to start to sound like a broken record because it has to be where Rutgers Esports finds something. And then, Quinn, if they lose out on that Skyline, if they receive their first loss of the year on their favorite map mode combo, I mean, that just bores no inside for the rest of the series.
Yeah, again, you're looking at that first Skyline S&D, you're saying to yourselves, This has to be a win for the side of Rutgers. You can potentially lose out on that Skyline Hardpoint. You still have to find a respawn when all is said and done mathematically to take the series, but you have a couple swings after that point. The Skyline S&D, if that falls apart for you, you lose your perfect record, you get a 1 in the L column, Matt, this entire series starts to fall apart for you, and it's where Mustangs is going to want to push them. Obviously, that Skyline, not perfect for them by any stretch of the imagination. They did lose a Skyline S&D to Syracuse a couple of weeks ago, a 3-6 scoreline there. So you're looking at this team across the board, though, when it comes to these respawns. You're looking at that being their opportunity to just take full control within this series. However you want to play it out, realistically speaking, you very well can notch the win here. And we're talking about the rankings on top of it as well. This is number 7 out of 25. The top 25 teams within the league right now. They are showing up. They are showing out for Rutgers. It might be the little brother in this scenario. Let's see if the little brother can potentially get a couple of hits in.
Yeah, and we're looking for that little brother kind of analogy to really pull off an upset right here, because if you look at all of the games that Rutgers has played, this is going to be the most important one. This is a season-defining game. If they're able to upset the Mustangs, prove that they are a team to be threatened with, they're 9-2. They have a great record. They'd improve to 10-2 with a top 10 win. That would be huge for the side of Rutgers. Push themselves potentially into that top 25 when the rankings come out. But again, Quinn, it's going to be a very, very tall task and a long mountain to climb.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I really like about this Rutgers squad is the fact that they are beating the teams that they should beat. Obviously, they've had a couple of bad outings versus Fisher College, which, again, I think everybody has had bad outings against Fisher College within the CCL. They also did lose to Carleton, who we saw just in that last matchup. We saw what they can do to Syracuse. That is a formidable foe to go up against. You did, again, notch a map against them. It was the Skyline S&D. Potential for parity here between these two teams. You never want to sell the narrative by any stretch of the imagination, especially before we even have the first map set and ready to go. But it does, again, feel like this is Mustang's series to lose. Rutgers an opportunity on the line potentially to make this interesting, though.
Yeah, and Quinn, I think something that we're going to see very early on in this series, and something that's going to tell me a lot about how this series may play out, is when you look at the map sets. We're only playing Skyline and Vault. Those are two of the most just gun chow. You're going to be taking constant gunfights time and time again. How is Rutgers going to keep up in the gunny department against a top 10 team like Mustangs? Because you talked about it. Mustangs have been absolutely frying right now. How are they going to be able to keep up in the slaying department? How are they going to be able to keep up in the kills? And I think it's something that on a Skyline Hardpoint is going to be very, very telling very early on.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you love the most about this series and the way the landscape is set here for the Mustangs, right? It's the fact that you can just gun chow your way through this. You can just play no holds bars, fast tempo, fast tempo, fast tempo, and no better an opportunity to set a fast tempo than on a Skyline map number 1, which again, you have not dropped a single time. So if you're Rutgers here, you're talking about this map number 1, you have to break a glass ceiling within the landscape of the CCL, not just within this series and not just within your own individual performance in order to take this map number 1. As we say, let's go on to the beautiful skylines of Skyline and get things going within our series. Let's see how this is going to play out. Clear potential winner here, but a potential for an upset potentially if certain parameters can be met, Matt.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just going to be a tough one here. I mean, if you're looking for a prediction out of the boys here, you'd have to go with the Mustangs. I feel like if you're a betting man, that's where your faith is going to rely. But again, you talked about it. Rutgers has a huge opportunity. This is a season-defining game, and you're looking for them to just show up and at least make this competitive, at least show us that they are a really good Call of Duty team that can push themselves on. And we're looking at it. You talked about it. Rutgers beats the teams that they're supposed to beat. How do they play against the teams that they are maybe not?
See, P1 online, both of these teams reared, ready to go. It's going to be the Mustangs to touch on first for the time, but they still have the tall task up ahead of them. These bad side spawns, they're going to have to fight their way through the madness. That's a good couple of kills, though, to start things off from Zay. Be able to collect 2 and start to give a little bit of credence through that kitchen side into the P2 spawns.
Yeah, and you see Boogie here. He's trying to work around through the top side. You get a couple of kills, try to make your way onto the hill, but this is a great first hold from Mustangs. Asylum just skeet shooting right now. 4 dead in the feed, and you're immediately pushing the action on forward towards P2. Perfect start for the side of the Mustangs.
And I love this out of the Mustangs as well. They are turning this P1 into a money hill quickly, as you can blink 33 playing nothing. But the side of Rutgers, yes, you have these good side spawns for now. And I say for now because Mustangs, they are running straight at you, not going to be able to collect the kills. You're looking at that time. Now for Rutgers, you need a practically full 60 to equalize off of this good P1 from Mustangs.
Yeah, it's so good from the side of the Mustangs. They give themselves the ultimate buffer to break into this P2, and they do it in 1 second. And absolutely up the zip down he goes, finds the kill. Rutgers will be right back on for the time, but now look at where all of the Mustangs are starting to accrue from.
A little bit of a camera break break there is just going to make insult to injury. Striker, the last player standing, looking to make his strike, but it's just not going to happen. Instead, it's the Mustangs sending them out of the court. And now for Rutgers, you are truly on the back foot early here. 4 points on the board for you, but the Mustangs, their tally continues to grow.
No, and I mean, Dello down here in the bottom side, we know what he can do. We've seen him do it time and time again. But look at Zay. He's got a lot of information here as there's going to be a barrage of players hitting him, but they are all going to meet their demise. 3 dead in the feed, shooting through walls as Zay just locks on, snaps, sits him down. Quinn, we are 2 hard points in, and it's already almost a 100-point lead for the side of the Mustangs.
My goodness, this is starting to get out of control. The Mustangs pressing the button once again, and I love this from the Mustangs as well, because they're actually going to flip out these spawns, and it's going to put the Rutgers players in a very, very tough spot as they try and trace their way over towards the bottom kitchen. It's just going to be a good shooting range here for the Mustangs to shoot them down every single step of the way, but a 2-for-2 trade, at least for now, will give Rutgers an opportunity to hit their way on in.
Yeah, but you just have to find the kills to make your way in, and that's been the biggest problem for Rutgers right now. You finally find a 3 dead in the feed, make it 4, flip the spawns out, and you can finally start getting a little bit of time here. You're on set for P4 as well. You have players in some good little cruddy positions here. This is a huge moment for Rutgers if they want to stay in this.
Again, they have to have some picture-perfect hardpoint for the next couple of kills if they want to reverse the damage that has already been done. A 2-for-2 trade. Striker just trying to get active in the backlines, trying to slow the assault for Mustang, but he's going to get turned and burned by Dello, and just like that, it's going to allow the Mustangs to cut their way on. 20 seconds left of scrap to accrue here, and again, if you are Rutgers, you're already staring the barrel of an 80-point deficit. You have to fight your way into this hill, it feels like.
No, I mean, it's one of the toughest hills to be able to do that without the spawns as well, but you do see Rutgers, multiple players around through the backside, but now Asylum just runs it right up through mid. He's able to find a couple of kills here. 3 dead with the crews, 4 dead in the feed, and Mustangs complete control now of this P4.
Oh, mercy. Dello 13-2 already pulling the crews. Mustangs are absolutely piecing them apart. We're not even through the first set of rotations. This is starting to get nasty early. If you are Rutgers, you need a break, and you need it here. You need it now. 1-for-1 trade as they try and cut their way through the madness, but Mustangs, they are not making it easy.
No, not with any stretch of the imagination. And now as Rutgers tries to find their way into the back, it will be out with a couple of kills. Is he able to find the 4th on his way in there? It'll be for Boogie. 4 dead, and it will be Rutgers with a little bit of time here. 25 seconds left to garner, and Quinn, we talked about it. This is the map that you wanted to start off good, you wanted to build a little bit of confidence, and you're already down 120 through the first set of rotations.
And again, it just feels like older brother versus younger brother, and the older brother is not going to give up a sliver of time. You already see the Mustangs still trying to cut their way into this P4 for the remaining scrap that they don't necessarily even really need. With the beatdown that they are already serving up, Rutgers will be able to mitigate the pressure for now. You turn your attention over towards this P1 that Mustang had no contention to deal with through the first set of rotations. It's going to have to be a different story here for Rutgers if they want to find their way back into the mix of this.
Yeah, and it's just looking like the same story, same font right now, Quinn, because the Mustangs are just absolutely putting them in a blender. Asylum's going to get the information of a couple players starting to wrap through kitchen, and it is going to be Rutgers that are hitting the nice routes onto P2, but again, P1 time has just gone completely the way of the Mustangs, finally able to get in as Rutgers, but is it too little too late right now, Quinn?
I mean, it feels like it. That's the first time that you've touched into P1 through the first set of rotations and now into the second set on top of it. White Hill time that the Mustangs surely can afford to play as they have these good sized spawns on top of it as well. They're just playing the kill race at this stage. You almost have a player already on 20 kills. It's going to be Dello, who is just having his way with this. The time matriculating his way as well. Rutgers trying to find their way back into the mix of this for at least a little bit of reprieve, a little bit of scrap that could potentially be gained here, but the taller task up ahead is P2 about to come online.
Yeah, you do have 2 players that have wrapped around the outside though, but you still have Dello, who's in the backlines right now. You deal with him, you secure the spawns, and now for Rutgers, this P2 becomes the utmost die or live hill. If they're able to secure this, they get a chance. Immediately, though, they are broken.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade is just going to make things so difficult. The Mustangs continue to take pressure, continue to take control. Now going to send a player on out on top of it as well. Asylum trying to get active and trying to stop the stall from the side of Rutgers as they once again need a break, and it just again feels like Groundhog Day. Every single step of the way, they are getting cut down. It's a sea of red in the feed once again. Boogie, the last one to fall and the last one to tell the tale of his fallen compadres. The Mustangs surely going to break past that 200-point barrier now.
Oh, I mean, easily, and you've still got 25 seconds to work with. You can creep up on the 250 barrier if you'd like. They're pushing up into the spawns. They are going absolutely nuclear right now. Nothing that Rutgers can do. There's no avenue of success. You are just getting cut down every single second here, Quinn. You look up, 213 playing 67. Mustangs are rallying to the 250 mark.
And I mean, at this point, it might just be a DoorDash for the side of Mustang. They are wanting to end this first map with some gusto. Get that tempo set once again that Rutgers just seemingly cannot keep up with. You even lose out on the rotation over towards his P3 side, so what already seems to be a terrible spot just continues to get worse. Jayhem trying to create some mayhem, but he'll be shut down in the kitchen once again. It's a little too hot for him as Zay's cooking up a nice meal.
Striker, I mean, he has to get into this. He has to break in for his team here. He finds the first kill to potentially open up this side. But Quinn, problem being is Rutgers right now, they are losing out on all of this time. Mustangs 10 seconds away from the win. You have to break in, and the kitchen is closed off. 5 seconds left, Quinn. This is surely done.
Yeah, the left foot, right foot express looking like it is truly shut down here. The breakdown from Rutgers and the shutdown from Mustangs. If there was any question about their respawn whatsoever, why was there? 100-point club on the board. Set the tempo within our series.
And we talked about it. Rutgers had to come out. They had to build some confidence against a team. When you're the underdog, you need something to go your way. You need to just have a little bit of confidence. You love to use the word gusto. Right there, it is just absolutely dire scenes. And what we say, a masterclass from the side of the Mustangs, a disaster class from the side of Rutgers.
I love to say gusto, I also love to say moxie. That is what we saw from the side of Mustangs. It's Mustang moxie to start the series off. So you get welcome to the 100-point club if you are on the side of Rutgers. And we talked about it again. The S&D kind of feels like they're do or die. But at some point within this series, Matt, you have to collect a respawn. After the way that just looked, I mean, if you're trying to create the narrative there, it's a tall, tall task.
No, absolutely, and we said it right before we got into the map that it was going to be very telling early on how Rutgers was going to be able to keep up in the gunny department. So far, not at all, Quinn. Non-existent inside of the kill feed almost, and you're going into another Skyline. Yes, Rutgers is 8-0, but you have not faced a team like Mustangs on this map before, and again, Quinn, this is a map that can just be so one-dimensional. It becomes so much of a bang out where you're just repeatedly banging into the kitchen, just trying to find those first bloods. And if those gunfights are getting forced early and often, Mustangs more often than not is going to come out on the better end.
Yeah, again, just it feels like a complete pacing issue from this point forward if you are Rutgers. You have to find a way to slow things down. Luckily, naturally, with an S&D, you will maybe be able to find a little bit of reprieve within that metric, but how little can you find within it when it is a Skyline S&D? It just feels like for the Mustangs, this is exactly where they want to keep you after what they just did to you on the hardpoint.
No, and I mean, it's the big brother smacking the little brother around right now, and Mustang Esports, they're showing their prowess, they're showing why they are a top 10 team. Again, 10-1 on the season, only loss being to Fisher. Rutgers right now, you just have to find a way to bounce back in this map, Quinn. It was the win condition that we set before the series even started, and right now it is just not even looking like they're going to be able to show up. But again, you have to take advantage of the slowdown. You have to start digging into that bag of tricks a little bit, right? We talk about it all the time, opening up the playbook, going to the deep pages. Pull out something that maybe the Mustangs aren't expecting. You have to make this series mixy. You just have to show a little bit of life here in this map too.
Yeah, but how much can you really do when it just feels like, again, you are being overpressured, outpaced in every single scenario? Yes, there are instances where you might be able to catch them off guard, might be able to snag a round or two by throwing the kitchen sink out of the window, but how many windows are there on Skyline? Well, there are a lot, but how many kitchen sinks do you truly have on a Skyline S&D? Starts to become the question here for the side of Rutgers, as yes, you have the perfect 8-0 record on this map, so it does feel like the best map and the best chance that you have within this series, but in terms of pacing, in terms of momentum, it's very much looking like the realm of possibility does say that Rutgers might be notching their first loss on the Skyline S&D. Definitely have to see, though.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we go into this one, if Rutgers are not able to put it together in this map, vault control doesn't seem like it's going to get any better for these guys. And you just have to see them start to shoot back a little bit, because it was just constantly the Mustangs out-rotating you, out-gunning you, and just playing a better fundamental hardpoint. I mean, every single time one of the Rutgers players was able to find a kill, immediately here comes the slide for the trade. The Mustangs are always on top of each other. They're always looking over each other's angles, and they just seem to always be in better positions than you right now. And that's what we saw inside of that Skyline. Everywhere you looked, seemingly, there was a Mustang player ready to just gun you out of your shoes. Heading into this Skyline, Quinn, I just don't know how Rutgers are going to be able to do this. I think they may be receiving their first map loss on this map.
Yeah, and not to add insult to injury, but you just even look back to that P1 on the first set of rotations. Rutgers looked lost. You don't even hop on for a second time. You allow the Mustangs to gain a nearly 60-point lead. You just can't be doing that against a team like this, against number 7 of the top 25.
Absolutely.
It's fact. It's just a tough spot to be in if you are Rutgers as well. Never want to sell the narrative quite yet, especially on a map number 1. But you're looking at this Skyline S&D. Talk to me, Matt. If you are Rutgers right now, how do you hit the ultimate regain? How do you maybe turn this map your favor? Again, staring down the barrel of the Mustangs.
I mean, I think from where we saw how Mustangs likes to play, at least on the Skyline Hardpoint, it's fast and it's aggressive. If they can kind of play into that a little bit, maybe take advantage of an over-aggressive push from one of the Mustangs players, you might be able to get a first blood, you may be able to gain a man advantage, and the Rutgers is going to have to play this very, very slow, because if you were just going to run at these guys, it is not going to work. You are going to get absolutely ripped to shreds and put to bed. For the side of the Mustangs, I mean, you look at it and that's exactly what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to over-aggress. They're going to want to take the action to them, make them feel that pressure that they made them feel in that map 1. For Rutgers, you just have to be ready for that. You have to take advantage of the slowdown, and you just have to stay on top of the first bloods. If you're going down so early in those man advantages in the 2v4s, 3v4s, you're not going to be able to beat a team like Mustangs. You have to play the first bloods perfectly. You have to make sure that you're getting that bomb down if you have the credence to, because how many times do we see it on Skyline where the offense is able to get that bomb down over towards the A site almost immediately, flip the pressure around on Mustangs when they're on the defensive side? Again, Quinn, it's just a gunny factor right now. I don't know how they're going to be able to just keep up with the presence and the kills that Mustang has provided.
Yeah, and again, you talk about the first bloods, you have to have the gunny to get the first bloods. You have to, there's only so much that positioning can truly do, right? And it just feels like the Mustangs, again, potentially favored within that regard as well. What you really look to Rutgers to try and stand up and show some presence within. So it just, again, just looks like a little bit of a mismatch from what we have seen to this point. As we bounce on into the Skyline S&D, we will truly see where we stand within our series between these two teams. Again, for Rutgers, feels like your win condition starts here. Yes, you need a respawn, but you absolutely, under every single circumstance, are going to need this Skyline S&D to swing your way. If you're the Mustangs, this could very well be the dagger within the series from a metaphorical sense. We're just about ready to go into Skyline 2 Electric Boogaloo.
We'll do it all over again, this time on the S&D. For Rutgers, again, you mentioned it, Quinn, do or die time. You either show up right here, right now, or you can essentially write this series off. Here we go, heading into round 1. It will be the side of Rutgers on the defense. How are they going to play into this as Mustang Esports with the bomb in the hand of the side?
And just look at the aggression.
Oh my
God. Straight into the piano for free. You blink and jam the last player standing in a 1v3. He'll be able to mitigate at least the player in front of him. But it's an uncustomary B plan over towards the side for Mustangs, and they know exactly where he is, Matt. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
No, and I mean, it was almost immediately a 3-piece in the feed. I thought we were still playing Skyline Hardpoint for a second, how fast Mustangs was wanting to hit that. JM has found a little bit of credence into this bomb site, and they're going to check this, obviously. But, I mean, for the side of the Mustangs, that's exactly what we called for them to do. Have that early aggression, force those gunfights early and often, and more often than not, they come out on the better end, and that's Dello immediately. 3 kills in the first round.
Dello masterclass continues. He dropped nearly 30 on that first map, and we were looking at him. We were saying, hey, this man is just an X-Factor player that you are going to have a hard time stopping. It's just, again, the tempo from the side of the Mustangs, not at all what you expect, even on a bang-bang map like Skyline. What is the response from Rutgers as they get the bomb in their court now? Onto the attacker side they go.
And all 4 players going towards the top side here. They do make their way over or towards the B side, because for the side of Mustangs, you have just sent all the players inside of the spawn. No. J-Ham's just gonna not even take a gunfight. He doesn't even want the smoke, brother. He doesn't want the smoke, brother.
That is stone cold floors over towards the bottom side of the Skyline. You don't want that, and that's going to be a 3v4 now. The bomb not going to be able to get planted. Rutgers just quivering in their boots. They had this B site for free, but they're not going to be able to make the exchange. Instead, it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, now a 2-for-1 as Dello peeks around the corner. You blink and the rest of the round falls apart for the side of Rutgers. Again, you gain the credence into B, you just don't know it. You don't get that plant down, you can't fully orient your attack.
Yeah, and just one of the most weird ways we've ever seen to get a first blood with J-Ham just kind of diving off of the map. But again, you talked about it. I love the aggressive play from the side of Rutgers. They immediately take credence of the B site. They have a free plant, but again, Quinn, just a little bit too shaky there. They want to make sure that they can clear out their angles. They're able to find the first entry kill, but it's like you said, you blink, you miss. There's 3 kills on the board, and Mustang Esports up 2-0.
Again, the Skyline S&D just becomes so slippery, literally and metaphorically, because you can just get outpaced so quickly in the gunny. Jayhem will be able to right the wrongs of that last round. Finds the first blood. D-Boogie, another on the board as well. Slowing the assault over towards this A side. You get the wrap play, and it's a perfect round and execute on the defensive side from Rutgers.
And you love to see that. A big bounce back for them here in this map. I mean, they go down 3-0 almost immediately because, Quinn, these rounds, not only have they just been immediately fast, they're almost ending with 4 players still alive, 3 players still alive. A huge round to at least stop the bleeding. But Quinn, you said it before this map, you want to see more than just those sporadic 1 or 2 rounds here from the side of Rutgers. You need to see them put together consistent rounds on the board and show this that they can hang with Mustangs inside of this S&D.
Well, Matt, we have a pulse from the side of Rutgers. How many heartbeats are we going to get as we continue on? Next side onto the attacker side round, they will go. Can they do? A very slow approach as Mustangs just continue to press the action, continue to go with the all-out aggression play. Rutgers might have the setup, though.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see from them, was playing off of that aggression. 1-for-1 trade, though, not going to go their way. 3-on-3 still to go, and about just over a minute left to get this bomb down. And all of these Rutgers players refusing to move a muscle. Have to see what the play is. As you see Mustangs, they've backed off. They're going to allow Rutgers to come to them after the early aggression. And that's what makes them so dynamic inside the S&D game mode.
Again, through these last 3 rounds, you're reading into the aggression. You're just saying, hey, you know what? If you're going to come to us, we're going to take those first bloods. We're going to take that man advantage. But at this point, Mustangs, they have backed up. They've turtled up. Now, if you're Rutgers, you have to start making a move, with the time being the additional factor. 37 seconds as the bomb slowly but surely starts to move its way over towards that B side, where Mustangs do have 2 players situated, working their way through mid ever so slowly. Dello not going to maybe get the information here as it hits in.
It is in. Early tags on. Boogie will be able to find the first. And now, 21 seconds left, though, to get this bomb planted. And again, you have 2 players laying inside this B site. Ethan goes huge, but he does get traded out. Asylum now into the 1v2. If he can stop the planter, he could turn it around on its head. And he does just that. Gets the planter, gets out with his life. But now, the 1v1. Chow not going to be able to win it. And Rutgers, 2 rounds in a row, bounce back here after the early aggressive plays from the side of Mustangs. And a huge 1v1 win from the side of Striker.
Oh, and if you're Asylum, you just want that one back, man. You just had 10 seconds on the board trying to play your life. You think you're out, but Striker strikes fast. Gets the round on the board. Tallies 2 for the side of Rutgers. If you're Mustangs, the attacking side, the defensive side, you've shown aggression on both. For the last 2 rounds, it's kind of come to bite you ever so slightly. How do they adapt with their next attacker side round on the board?
And you and I love to say what makes a good S&D team is those mid-round and mid-game adjustments. And we'll have to see it from Mustangs here. Depends what they want to do, but immediately taking credence in toward the kitchen side. And they have the free bomb plan if they want to get it as well, Quinn. You do have Al on that wrap, though. You got to make sure you're careful of your backside.
Ethan on the watch, just waiting for that player to potentially make the wrong step into the backlines, trying to pull off a pincher. Over towards the front side, a couple of tags will go through from the side of Rutgers, and it's going to be a big win from Alendi to open things up potentially from this backside, as now the hit is in.
Yeah, but again, only 26 seconds left. They're able to find another kill, but you've got to get somebody towards this bomb site. This is still not a winnable, or not an easily winnable round. Jayhem's just giving tags to the wall right now. 1-for-1 trade goes, but Quinn, 16 seconds left. They've still got Dello, but he's in a 1v3.
1v3 for Dello. Can he play the bomb check? Information being granted, but not going to be the gunfight. Jayhem strikes for 2. It will be the defuse and the round win for Rutgers. Gives them the lead as they rattle off the last 3.
And this is huge from the side of Rutgers. And you talk about the mid-game adjustments. It's exactly what we wanted to see from them here in this S&D. And they're showing you why, Quinn. They are 8-0 on this map.
Ridiculous scenes. And again, it just kind of is starting to feel like an instance of, we've seen this before. They did it to Carleton, who we just saw play with utter dominance up against Syracuse. They were able to take a 6-3 Skyline S&D off of them. The respawn's not necessarily as close. Pacing to potentially do so. A little bit of an upset here, but nonetheless, Mustangs, they're not going to go away without a fight by any stretch of the imagination. Now down by 1. Matt, what is the response?
Looks like Rutgers wants to hit an early push onto this A site, but it's going to be met with absolute gunfire as Zay able to find the first blood, but Boogie does able to trade back out. Now it's into the 3v3, but Ethan from the top side and just Mustangs seemingly everywhere at once.
It's just bad caught timing there, and now it's just going to be insult to injury once again. Asylum strikes. It's all going to come down to Boogie in the 1v3, and none v3 will say sayonara to you. How does that stone cold floor feel?
Yeah, three playing now as the Mustangs immediately bouncing back. And again, Rutgers finds those 3 rounds in a row. It feels like they may be able to change the tides of this S&D, but right back from the Mustangs are able to use the aggression that they are known for, and they make good on it. And Quinn, we talked about it all the time on Skyline, how it can sometimes just turn into an absolute bang out towards that A side. 3 players from each team just blowing their lives into the kitchen, but Mustangs able to come out on top of that round, and halfway through, Quinn, we are all knotted up.
Back and forth we go. Little brother starting to show some life. Might be the older brother just unplugging the controller once again. Immediate aggression once again over towards the piano side, over towards top stairs, and trying to make the hit into this B side. But Rutgers, they're ready for it. They'll send a couple of tags on in. No kills will be accrued quite yet, but that's all the information that they need. Trying to make the trace over towards this A side though, but you have a player set up and ready to go, so 1-for-1 trade. The bomb can now go down.
Asylum getting that bomb plant in will flip the pressure around ever so slightly here. It's now forcing Rutgers on the defense. They have to force on the way on in, but just not going to be able to get past Ethan on the top side. Well, he's able to find a trade, though. Turns things into a 2v2, but again, the trade's just a little bit better from the side of Mustangs. Now in the 1v2 for J-Ham, and that time is already ticked into red.
Time ticking away. He's got it going. He's got it go. Now he's got to accrue 2 kills. They do have their backs to him, so hold on. Wait a minute. Do they read into the wrap? Gets the first for free. Can he potentially find the second? The information will be garnered, though. All you have to do if you are Zay is play this bomb plant, play the check in time. 10 seconds on the board, peeking forward, and it's not going to be enough time, even though the kill will be accrued from J-Hem. Take the round. It will swing the way of the Mustangs in the lead as well. Flies back their way.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time. Playing the bomb, right? If you've got that bomb planted, there's no reason to just throw your life out and chow. He plays it perfectly behind the fireplace. Bomb check comes in. Even though he loses his life, the more important is Mustangs getting the round. And now from the Mustangs, 2 rounds in a row fired right back off from them. And we're just kind of trading these consistent rounds from each other. And it still leads us into this 4-3 scoreline. A huge swing round upcoming for the side of Rutgers Esports. The difference between 4-4 and 5-3 is absolutely detrimental.
Just feels like against a team like the Mustangs, you can't let momentum swing back their way, especially at this stage. Look at this aggression from the bottom portion of the map. Up they will go. Zay starting his wrap. Has Asylum in tow as well, and if Rutgers doesn't read into this, Matt, this could be a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, and Boogie, he goes to check it, but it just gets not gone, and J-Ham gets the worst COD timing as both players slip by him.
No way.
First blood in the back pocket of the side of the Mustangs, but traded back out by Striker. He's able to find 1. 50 seconds left, though, still for Rutgers to try to get this thing down.
Rutgers, you're not feeling great at all. You know that these players were last seen in your back lines. You have the comms to work with. They've already escaped. They're on the other side of the map. Alendi, though, on the other side of the coin, down in the kitchen, will be able to find 1. Swings the favorable matchup in favor of Rutgers, but immediately traded right back out by Zay. So that's not going to give you enough greens for the bomb plant. I love this artificial pincher from Mustangs as well.
Yeah, trying to go up through the side here. Zay's going to get the information on it. That's detonate out just to cause a little bit of pressure here. 20 seconds left to get this bomb plant down.
No.
He finds the first one. Is he able to find the second? Absolutely! Rips the heads and sits them down. And absolutely disgusting. 4-4 now scoreline as Quinn. This S&D just keeps getting better.
My goodness. And again, you liked the wrap there for a second from the side of Mustangs. They're trying to set up the artificial pincher, eventually catch these players out, but Alendi reads it perfectly, times it perfectly, gets those 2 kills on the board for his squad. Again, you talked about the importance of that round. 5-3, very different from 4-4. We equalize things out once again. Rutgers, this is their win condition. As we have said time and time again, they need it, and they need it now.
Early on, Asylum. He's going to make an aggressive play towards the piano side here. He's got Dello kind of looking over him as well. Bomb wants to make its way there, and it's a 1-for-1 trade that'll happen almost immediately into the fray. And again, leaves us now into a 3v3.
I'm kind of caught on an island. You're waiting for your players to rotate on in, but that's going to be player personnel advantage. In fact, granted from Asylum. Dello eventually in the nick of time will be able to strike. It all comes down to Boogie in the 1v2. Gets the spot, but not the kill. So that's the information on where he is. Just have to zone him out if you are Mustangs. 55 seconds left to work with here, and he just has to disappear.
Bomb plant will go down here, Quinn. Boogie's just going to try to play it through the outside, the sneak on in, tries to find the ninja potentially if he's able to sneak his way around the back lines, but I mean, there's just nothing that he's going to be able to do here. I mean, 35 seconds left, the same position that we saw him in before. He's able to hit the wrap play once again. The information's been garnered, though, for the side of Mustangs, and that could just be the round right there.
Yeah, 25 seconds left as time continues to tick away. You just have to zone him out. That's additional information granted. I don't think Boogie even saw. That's going to be the stun check on in. Tags trying to come through. But again, Matt, you talk about the time being the additional factor. There's just no way in hell, if you are Rutgers, that you are going to be able to win this round. Once again, Mustangs, they do bend a little bit, but they never break. The lead will be back squarely in their hands as we go into their map point.
And a little bit of a knife fight to end out the round as Boogie, he's able to find both consolation kills, but you mentioned at the time is just not in his favor there. And once they get the information onto him that he's all the way in the backside spawn, they know that he can't force his way. They know there's only a couple of lanes that he can make his way towards the bomb site. Perfect tags on. That's exactly how you want to play a 2v1. And for the side of the Mustangs, you now put yourself one round away from going up 2-0 in this series. For Rutgers Esports, you need 2 rounds in a row to win even just your win condition match. If they're not able to do this, Quinn, it could be over right here, right now.
Picture perfect from this point. Rutgers are 8-0, but it's starting to slip away as we watch. 1-for-1 trade immediately becomes a 2-for-1, though. It's checkerboards in the feed as it comes down to a 2v2. LND trying to play some Rocket League, get a little bit of information. It will be able to give D-Boogie an opportunity to strike. Equalize this out down to a 2v2, Matt.
Yeah, but immediately you're going to see Mustangs just get out with their lives there, huddle together. Now they have the information as well. The bomb will go down onto the A site, so additional information for the side of Mustangs here. And now Rutgers put on the defensive side, just has to play this to a T. First gunfight will go their way. Now Ethan into the 1v2. What's he going to be able to do?
He gets the spot. First kill on the board. Alendi, it all comes down to him. He's been the MVP to this point for Rutgers. Can he strike when he is needed most? Back and forth they will go, but Ethan gets the spot, gets the tags and the kill. The round, the defuse, it all goes the way of Mustangs. The perfect record is shattered, and they go up 2-0 in the series.
And Ethan just makes the hero 1v2 play, just throwing out the shoulders, playing ring around the rosy, and gives him a pocket full of posies. 6-4 Mustang Esports, able to take a 2-0 lead now here in this series. And if you're on the side of Rutgers Esports, now having to win 2 respawns back-to-back just to get you to the map 5, you need the full reverse sweep. It looks like Mount Everest to climb right now.
Ashes, ashes, as your series hopes might have just fallen down. If you are Rutgers, 2-0 now in favor of Mustangs as we head into the vault for the rest of the series. If we go to that map number 5, it will not change whatsoever. And again, just for the side of the Mustangs, they were able to continue the tempo that we saw them set on the Skyline Hardpoint, Skyline S&D. The aggression that they showed, it was warranted. They played it super calculated on top of that as well. Rutgers able to keep it a little bit closer than the Skyline Hardpoint, but when your win condition truly does lie on a map, you're going to need to win that map.
And I mean, you look at this too on this beautiful graphic set up by our production squad. I mean, it was a great start for the Mustangs. They get that early 2-0 lead, and then that's where Rutgers starts to make a little bit of a comeback, right? They rattle off 3 rounds in a row. You look at that back half of the map, Quinn, though. It's Mustang Esports that ended out on a 4-1 run, and they just absolutely take over. It's those mid-round, mid-game adjustments that Mustangs Esports showing a little bit of the prowess, showing just a little bit of a deeper playbook than the side of Rutgers right there. Again, like you said, closer than the first map of a 250-72 scoreline, but now heading into another respawn against this Mustang squad. It feels like all for naught here for Rutgers.
A tall task when you're playing up against the best, and to play like the best, you have to play with the best. Scuff, the exclusive controller partner of College COD. Head to scuff.co/collegecod and dominate the competition with the brand new Valor Pro. It's the official controller sponsor of College Call of Duty. Folks, we're going to go ahead and send it to a quick break before we go into our next map. Vault Control, the series on the line here for Rutgers Mustangs. Looking to close it out after the break. Here we go. Vault Control still awaits us, as does Vault Hardpoint and Vault S&D. If Rutgers can turn this series around, currently down 0-2. As we talk about it, the Skyline S&D, we felt like that was going to have to be their win condition. They're not able to realize that. Their perfect 8-0 record now reduced to ashes here, Matt. talk about this vault control. We're only going to keep getting faster within this already fast series. Talk to me. What is going to happen here?
Well, it's just so difficult for me to see Rutgers being able to keep up with the side of Mustangs inside of the respawn game mode. You look at that first map, 250 to 72. It wasn't close. The Mustang turned P1 into a money hill, almost up 60 points immediately into that map. You head into the vault control now. It just doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. And Quinn, we talked about it going into the series. Rutgers needed to find points of confidence, right? They needed some things in the series to go their way to just build up a little bit of wind in their sails. You lost your O on your best map mode combo, and you get 100-point clubbed inside of the first map. You look to this, it just seems like all the wind just got sucked out of the building right now for the side of Rutgers Esports.
Yeah, and it just feels like a complete mismatch when we talk about the pacing, right, between these two teams. Mustangs were just running straight at them, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. They're special players, special teams, and they are going to be playing like diamonds out here tonight. For the side of Rutgers, I mean, you are just getting taken to every single time in this vault control. Matt, it just does not feel great if you are Rutgers spawning into this, especially after the last two maps. Feels like another pacing issue potentially on the cards here if the Mustangs have how they want to on this map. For Rutgers, I mean, the ability to keep up is what you have to prioritize first. The question starts to become, is that even a possibility?
Yeah, and I mean, we looked at the mode records coming into this one as well. Control definitely seems to be Rutgers' worst game mode. So you lose out on the Hardpoint 100-point club, you lose your best map mode combo in your best mode, and now you're down 2-0 heading into what could be the last map of this series as the Mustangs, like you mentioned, looking to run, looking to gallop their way to a 3-0 victory, and already 3 dead in the feed, and it is just the same story in a different map and mode.
Yeah, the whole world riding on Jayhem here, just trying to create some spaces. This is a little uncustomary. About 10 seconds into the round, you already have Asylum over towards gold. He's going to continue to shine like gold in the kill feed. Eventually, he's going to be shut down nonetheless. So Rutgers, the immediate reset is in the factor, in the cards. For Mustangs, you're already playing that bully ball that we know them.
Yeah, you're already playing the spawn trap simulator that we know that vault control can sometimes become, especially if you're not able to get out on that first set of kills. You do see Rutgers trying to make their way down that B street, but multiple people now here for the side of Mustang Esports. 3-for-1 trade though here for Rutgers. They may be able to do a little bit of damage, but again, you just have to clear out some of these players for coming through.
To touch over towards the A side, but here comes Della, waiting for the reinforcements to come in before he pops up from his little hole in the floor. A little bit of turtle power potentially in the cards here as the Mustangs now start flying on in. The attack is through, a 3-for-1 trade. Jayhem, the last player to stand, the last player to tell the tale, as he will fall as well. Back into the respawns they will go, and that starts to become Groundhog Day once again.
Yeah, back to the respawns and back to the spawn trap. You've only got 1 tick of progress. You're down 5 lives, and there's only 18 seconds left. You gotta get a move on. You gotta get to either one of these sites right now. A lot of pressure here for the side of Rutgers, making their way up through the middle of the map, but can they get the kills to justify?
To get the kills, that's a big question here, especially when you are facing barrels of the Mustangs. There's another 3 dead in the feed, a sea of red in the feed. 5 seconds left. Rutgers, you just have to pray that you can touch at this point. And Matt, I don't think it's in the realm of possibility. It's going to be a dominant defensive round in favor of the Mustangs, as they have not lost a step between our about 5-minute break.
And I mean, the rounds right now just going so quickly reminds me of kind of how they started out on that Skyline Hardpoint. I mean, it was immediately 3 dead in the feed. They immediately go up into their spawns and start just causing mayhem. And right now for the side of Rutgers, again, you're just looking to build confidence. You're looking for something that you can hang your hat on in this series. And right now you're just getting taken to by the side of the Mustangs.
Yeah, at this point, if you're trying to build confidence, you should have done that way, way before this stage. You are back against the wall. You got to give it your all, but your all just doesn't feel like it's ever going to be enough when the Mustangs have their way with you. They're the number 7 ranked team for a reason, and they are trying to get a job done today. Love this play from them as well. They're going to have a little bit of misdirection. Touch on for that A time, but guess what? We're over towards B. We have the outer palm support as well. Get here or B square.
And Divine Intervention just says that Rutgers are not going to win this. The vehicle explosion, it's already the first tick of progress. You have them trapped in your top bar. Boogie finds a big kill towards the top side, may be able to take this power position and may be able to find a couple of kills.
Oh no.
He's immediately ripped to shreds, and now the left foot right express has to be on, and it's just not going to get there in time, Quinn.
Yeah, that B site immediately going to be taken away, done and dusted as Mustangs. They are acting quick. Still 25 playing 25. Those Rutgers, they're able to clear them off of the time over towards that B side eventually. Now for the Mustangs, you have to trace your way over towards A. A couple of key kills to enter the feed to do so. Rutgers, they're here, they're ready to play.
Yeah, but now for the side of Mustangs, you can just slow this down. You can just play the kills. You've got 2 minutes on the clock here, Quinn. They are feeling comfortable and living life nice. A couple of kills, though, will matriculate in the feed for the side of Rutgers. Is a 3-piece. Boogie with another.
Oh.
And now, potentially, is Rutgers going to set up a spawn trap? But again, you have to make sure that you're keeping track of your kills and making sure you just continuously put them in the grave.
It's a nice heartbeat to see, but how long will it last if you're on the side of Rutgers? Trying to cut your way out of your spawn if you are the Mustangs. It's been a tough job to this point. You're starting to watch the lives dwindle ever so slightly as it's now 20 playing 14. Very much within the realm of the possibility here for Rutgers, but we know the Mustangs for their ability to explode onto the time. A couple of kills will enter the feed in their favor, and now they'll have an opportunity over towards the A side.
And how many times do we say, Quinn, it's all it takes is 4 dead in the feed, 3 dead in the feed, and you can just stack that hill, get it done and dusted, and that's exactly what they're looking to do here. Double stack here on this A side. First tick of progress already secured. 3 for 1. J-Ham, the last one. He has to be the hero. He has to be the Batman. Can he be able to find anything towards this top side? It's already the 3rd tick of progress being worked on.
Second tick of progress is in, and the 3rd will follow as well. Can you touch for the time? The answer is no. Rutgers get put in the bin on the defensive side. Mustangs, again, we said it. It just comes down to getting out of your own spawn for these boys. Once they have that, they essentially gain full map control. Dominance on the attacker side from the boys in red.
I mean, it's dominance on the defense, dominance on the offensive side. I mean, Quinn, at this rate, this control is going to end quicker than the map to break. I mean, this is ridiculous the way that the Mustangs are playing. We talked about aggression, but this is on another level right now. You mentioned it perfectly. They find 3 dead in the feed, immediately make their way onto the site. They immediately play those cutoff angles. Mustang Esports, I mean, this is looking like a nice, pretty bow tied on top of already a dominant series.
Map point, series point here, Rutgers. Your hopes on the line within this series. You have to put up or shut up here and now. Towards the A side, they will go. The initial hit on in, but you're just getting batted out of this middle portion of the map. 3 for 1 trade. J-Ham, the last player standing, the last to fall within the early onset. Now the Mustangs, once again, can just play bully ball into your spawns, Matt. It's their favorite game of the day.
Yeah, and you're even looking at the tick battle right now. 6-1 for the side of Mustangs. I mean, they are dominating in every facet of the game. You still haven't allowed Rutgers to even hit a toe in. Finally, over towards the A site, they will find a little bit of success here, Quinn, but you talk about it, you said it. How long can it last? Already contested, taken off the hill, and Ethan bouncing up off the diving board into the spawns.
Hey, you love the Omni movement here. You gotta check your corners. They just slip by each other. It's such a mixy play. Nonetheless, it's going to be the Mustangs controlling the middle portion of the map for now. You're starting to see Stryker try and cut his way through into this A hill, but he's the lone man waiting for his reinforcements to come on in. There's still a lot of Mustangs around this part of the town.
Yeah, and I mean, we're looking for some semblance of something for Rutgers here to say good about, but I mean, Quinn, the Mustangs have done everything right, and even when they're playing it wrong, they're finding the gunfights to go their way. 27 seconds left in the series, potentially here for Rutgers to make their way onto the site. They do find a couple of kills. It's immediately traded back out. J-Ham tries to find 2. He gets shut down. Now, 16 seconds left, and Rutgers, they are on the B site here, but it's only Boogie. He has to have the reinforcements to come through.
Oh, and Asylum has the opportunity to completely play the cutoff crossers. Will they read into his positioning? The answer is no. He strikes for 1, and that's going to be cause for concern. The Rutgers players are just going to have to hop off the hill. Even though Boogie has the potential to continue to gain a little bit of time, he's a one-man band, and his drum is going to stop beating over towards that B side. Time being the additional factor here. Can you touch? The answer is no. It's a 3-0 finish on the Vault Control and a 3-0 in the series as the Mustangs are just doing Mustang things.
I mean, you see them in the game chat right there getting active as well, Quinn. I mean, these guys are feeling good. They know they absolutely just BTA this series. And I mean, brother, we were looking at these gunfights. I mean, some of these were just ridiculous. Ethan's 22-9. Some of these score lines just not even looking possible. 3-0 in the control, 3-0 in the series. Total game time, 5 minutes and 48 seconds, Quinn. An absolute DoorDash of a series.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had done the science experiment to see what would have arrived faster, a Mustangs win or a DoorDash order. I guess Cheeto Wonga will have to be the one to tell us that at a later point in time, folks. That is going to do it, though, for this series and for this broadcast here tonight. It was an honor to be able to take the desk with you, Matt, for our first time on College Call of Duty. We'll be back here at 10:30 p.m. tomorrow, but for the entire broadcast, we'll be starting things off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. These beautiful casters will take you through the action.
No, absolutely. You look at it one more time. 250 to 72, 6-4, 3-0, a dominant series. I mean, Quinn, they lost a few maps in the midpoint of that S&D, but again, after going 3-3 or 3-2 down, they go on a 4-1 run to close out that map. The respawns were absolutely picture perfect, and Mustang Esports again proving why they are one of the top 10 teams in the nation.
Yeah, it's just dominance. Again, you're beating the teams that you absolutely should be beating. The Mustangs doing everything and then some. They've already had some statement wins on top of it as well, Matt. As you said, there's a reason why this is the number 7 team out of the top 25. Thank you guys so much once again for joining us here for some College Call of Duty action. Again, join us all tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more great College Call of Duty.